Hello, and welcome to the 2020 Atigun Awards Virtual Edition. Well, this is certainly not how I envisioned my first Atigun Awards. Normally, members of Alyeska's executive team and I would be traveling the state right now to recognize outstanding individuals and teams while celebrating with their peers. Like most plans this year, we've had to adapt. So unfortunately, there are no barbecues in Valdez, Fairbanks, or along the pipeline route this year. That means no handshakes and photo ops with awardees and their teammates. However, while we might not be able to gather together in person, we can and will still celebrate. One major positive of an Atigun Award video is that everyone on TAPS gets to share in the experience, which wasn't possible before. One thing that isn't changing is taking the time to honor the talented and hardworking people on TAPS. Their work makes our pipeline and the people on it safer, more efficient, more responsible, and more innovative. These teams and individuals inspire us to collaborate more, to communicate better, and to aim high in all we do. And these special folks, like Atigun Awards themselves, represent what it means to overcome challenges. At 4,379 feet, Atigun Pass is the highest elevation on the TAPS route. It might also be one of the most beautiful and intimidating landscape along the line. Imagine the grit, determination, and brilliance it took to get our pipeline constructed along this seemingly unforgiving area 45 years ago. That creativity and resilience is reflected in what we recognize with these awards and the honorable mentions today. In this video, the Alyeska executive team and I will present Atigun Awards and honorable mention honors in the following categories: environment, innovation, health and safety, integrity, and teamwork. We'll also present the special President's Choice Awards for Contractor of the Year, Engineer of the Year, Technician of the Year, 2 Professionals of the Year, and a Lifetime Achievement Award. While we can't gather together, I certainly encourage you to congratulate the co-workers, colleagues, friends that you see recognized here today, whether that's in person or via email, phone, or instant message. With that, Michelle Egan will provide some details on the history of the Atigun Awards, as well as show off some of the prizes that this year's group of award winners, honorable mention recipients, and nominators will receive. Enjoy the show.
Thank you for kicking off the 2020 Atigun Awards, Brigham. The Atigun Awards program doesn't just showcase TAPS workers. The program is in place because of employee involvement and engagement. Several years ago, a task force of employees from across the TAPS system recommended ways to improve employee engagement and recognition. This annual awards program was one of those recommendations. Employees wanted an annual program that highlighted the outstanding work we do with a focus on peak performance. Hence, the connection to Atigun Pass, the highest elevation TAPS crosses. The task force wanted to make sure that the awards were tied to our values, and each of the categories reflects important values that are demonstrated every day across the system: health and safety, environment, teamwork, innovation, and integrity. Anyone on TAPS can submit a nomination for the Atigun Awards, and the entries are reviewed by the executives with an eye for those that demonstrate our cultural attributes. Part of the Atigun Awards experience is acknowledging all of the participants with a gift. This includes items for award recipients, honorable mentions, nominators, and anyone nominated. This year is no different. Atigun winners will receive a Marmot jacket with the Atigun Awards logo. Honorable mentions will receive a charging port for their electronics. Anyone who was recognized as a nominee will receive a special Atigun mini dry bag. And we wouldn't have this recognition program without the nominators who share the award-worthy work. It takes serious effort to create a nomination, and we appreciate that. Anyone who submitted a nomination will receive a flashlight. And the 2020 President's Choice Award recipients will receive a Copper River fleece jacket that has our Atigun logo on it. Going virtual with the 2020 ceremony gave us the opportunity to modernize and innovate our recognition beyond the annual presentation of paper certificates. New this year, Atigun Award winners and honorable mentions will receive Atigun branded badges, email footers, and WebEx and Teams backgrounds. This will make it easy to show off your TAPS pride and your Atigun-worthy work. Speaking of that, it's time to give out some awards, and the 2020 Atigun Awards will be kicked off by Betsy Haines.
Thank you, Brigham and Michelle. I appreciate this awesome opportunity to announce the first set of 2020 Atigun Awards. The environmental category recognizes achievements in environmental protection, habitat enhancement, regulatory compliance, or pollution prevention, something we are all passionate about on TAPS. Before I start handing out awards, I'd like to tell you what the Atigun Awards mean to me. You know, Atigun Pass, I love it. It's a mountain, it's high, it's challenging. And the awards that we have really embody what it means to do our best, to reach that pinnacle. We're able to take a look at what our employees are doing and to recognize those achievements. And they're around the values that are so important to us as a company. I just think it's awesome that we're able to see what is going on down in the different teams. And without the awards, some of these would go unnoticed and unrecognized. So I am just so pleased to be a part of these awards here this year. And now on to the environmental awards. Wildlife response capabilities, efforts, efficiencies, and standards reached new heights on TAPS last year, and that work earned a talented group the honorable mention Atigun for Environment. This excellent work was especially visible during last year's Minton Creek Combined Resource Exercise. The environment team introduced new technologies, executed the remote deployment of the Wildlife Response Module, successfully integrated agency participation to set a new standard for wildlife response, and used drones and helicopters in the same airspace to provide nearly real-time footage for those working on the Fairbanks Emergency Operations Center. A new permitting application process was also developed and tested during the exercise, which received positive reviews from agency participants. Meanwhile, the group also successfully tested its usual response capabilities, communications, logistics, and safety standards. Angela Matz of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service offered praise after the exercise, saying, "We were so impressed with the high level of agency coordination before and during this drill. We worked together, and it was a huge step forward in removing unnecessary duplication during spill responses so that we can focus on the actions." Congratulations on successfully implementing impressive and important new practices, further strengthening the trust and partnership with regulatory agencies, and earning this year's Environment Honorable Mention. This year's Environment Atigun Award winner's vision of extending the life of low water crossings by enhancing traditional fish passage designs came with a bonus: maintaining Alaska fish populations. There are hundreds of fish streams flowing along TAPS and its access roads. Most go through a drainage structure called a low water crossing, which allows vehicle access and fish passage. They require ongoing maintenance due to vehicle wear and tear that widen and flatten the crossings. They can also develop a drop-off downstream, which can lead to an impedance or blockage to fish passage and cut off miles of fish habitat. In 2019, Glen Allen Response Base Civil Maintenance Coordinators and GRB Baseline Team experimented with ways of backwatering the drive lane by placing large rocks at the downstream end of the crossing. With this new method, small and medium-sized streams are deepened without increasing velocity, which is often an issue with traditional maintenance methods. It also allowed for greater opportunities for fish to pass through. For larger streams, water velocity is slowed in the crossing, making it easier for juvenile fish to navigate. The technique of incorporating, quote, S-turns downstream of the low water crossings extends the life of the channel through the grade break, slows the velocity, and creates a deep water chute for fish to swim through. Thank you all for your thoughtful approach to protecting the environment along TAPS and those that live in it. Your commitment to the environment and finding innovative and smart methods to further protect fish life in Alaska is noble and appreciated. It's also award-worthy. Congratulations on your Atigun Award in Environment. And now, I'll send it to Dave Heimke for the Innovation Awards.
Thank you, Betsy. Today it's my pleasure to announce the outstanding work in the innovation category, which recognizes groups and individuals who leverage knowledge and creativity to continuously improve operations and efficiencies in our work on taps and beyond. This was my first year being part of the selection process for these awards. I've had the fortunate honor to be able to both be a nominator for several years for different folks that I've seen do work that is worthy of an award, and also to have been nominated and feel that I was appreciated by my coworkers. This year, I was in the enviable position of being able to look at the nominations and be an evaluator. It was a quite interesting and amazing position to be in. Sometimes it's unbelievable to know that so many of your peers are doing these awesome things along taps, and you're not even aware of them as you drive by on the haul road. We may drive past somebody who's being innovative, somebody who is working on a project that may be nominated for health and safety, certainly teamwork, environment, and integrity. Each of those topics are worthy of honor to our peer groups. With that, on to the Innovation Awards. First up, honorable mention. The honorable mention in innovation goes to the Command Systems Contingency Incident Planning Team. 2019 was transformative. They worked to become more process-driven, which reduces the reliance on individual institutional knowledge. They've expanded software for incidences, including IAP and Send Word Now, to improve their documentation and send notifications and communications across taps. Reduce the duplication of work between the department and other contributors by encouraging speaking up about process edits early and involving the right voices while planning for the year. The team supports each other in new ways, like learning more about each other's roles. Because of that, the CIP team can now backfill when needed and keep work moving during peak workflows. For instance, the BP shipper drill, which used to take 3 to 4 days, has less people and has taken about half that amount of time. This is innovation in a changing landscape and very deserved of this honorable mention for innovation. Thanks to all of you for your hard work in this very important effort for TAPS, and my congratulations to you for your honorable mention. The Atigun Award winner this year for innovation goes to a pioneering group that for the first time on TAPS performed direct weld metal deposition to repair internal and external corrosion on piping, thus creating a new solution to an annual challenge. We go back in TAPS history. Welding is probably the most important skill. You look at all the sections of an 800-mile pipeline and think of all the welding done, all the inspections done, all the course correction done as that 800-mile pipeline was put together. You can't lose sight of the welding that's done today on our repair, on our projects, and to find innovation in this area in this day and age is truly exciting. After rigorous studying and testing by third-party engineering vendors and successful changes in industry coding over a 3-year period, this new application changed certain corrosion repairs on taps and how others in the industry approach similar work. Procedures are followed stringently with close control of welding parameters to ensure proper bonding of weld metal to pipe wall and avoidance of hydrogen cracking. Probably the most interesting part was the code changes that were made by the innovations of the team, thus demonstrating that the engineers and the welders along taps had provided a new industry standard. They probably saved us well over $1 million if you think about the effort that was done prior to the weld deposition process. They've proven industry codes are not limitations to innovation. Strong partnerships and communication with regulatory bodies can allow technology to really highlight and improve our work on taps. Thanks again to the team for their strong efforts, sticking with it through the challenges and turning around at the very end and changing the way the industry approaches corrosion. My sincere and appreciation and congratulations. And now I'll send it to Ed Hendrickson for the Integrity Awards.
Well, thank you, Dave. I'm thrilled to present this year's Atigun Award for Integrity, a term and honor that carries extra significance at our organization. There were many excellent candidates, as always, and while this category is usually dominated by outstanding individuals, this year 2 groups of incredible people doing special work are being recognized for their outstanding contributions. Before I present the honors, I want to share a little bit about the Atigun program and why it's so special. There's a tremendous amount of work and creativity and innovation that goes on every year, each and every day, by people all through the system. And we don't often say thank you enough. And what is really nice is that once a year, we bundle up the great work that the organization is doing. And one of our favorite days is when we sit down as an executive team and pour through the nominations. And it's really just makes you proud to be a part of this team. And it makes you also realize how terrific and how creative our workforce is. So the Atigun Awards are just one way to say thank you for what you do each and every day along the system. And now, on to the awards. The honorable mention for integrity goes to the group that completed the Pump Station 10 facility removal. This project was a first on taps. An entire facility demolished and effectively disappeared. With no template to follow, each day was well planned and methodically performed to ensure safe and efficient success. The people involved ensured that Alyeska kept its commitment to safely dismantle Pump Station 10 while meeting all regulatory grant and lease requirements. Cleanup was a priority, and it was performed at the end of each workday so that materials like hazardous waste and recyclables were contained and secured. The work required was spread over 119 days, took more than 65,000 hours, 1,000 work permits, and at times nearly 100 workers. Thank you to everyone involved in this moment in TAP's history and the integrity involved in helping Alyeska keep its commitment in making the work a success. Congratulations on receiving this year's honorable mention for integrity. So this year's Atigun Award winner truly touches all the definitions of integrity and then some. And for this diverse team, it was how they communicated with urgency, honesty, and transparency to their communities whose drinking water may have been affected by PFAS. When a sampling of the Nordale Yard water showed concentration of PFAS above the state of Alaska action levels for potential groundwater contamination, a small group of Alyeska employees took swift action to communicate to potentially impacted parties nearby, families, home and property owners, and more. The team didn't simply check off the required regulatory reporting. These folks braved cold temperatures late into the evening to personally reach out to owners and residents of neighboring properties. Notifications were hand-delivered, personal conversations were had, and pallets of drinking water were given to residents the following day. That proactive and compassionate approach made all of us proud, and it helped Alyeska maintain its positive, trusted reputation among the community and with regulatory agencies. Meanwhile, in Anchorage, individuals coordinated well testing for each of the homes on a quick deadline, ensured the testing labs were certified to verify PFAS concentrations. And the good news is the drinking water at all the homes came back with a clean bill of health. No one was affected. A big thank you to all of those for your genuine care and deep integrity shown to those who were potentially affected. And congratulations on receiving this year's Atigun Award for Integrity. Now I'll turn it over to Sally to present the next set of awards.
Thanks, Ed. Those were excellent illustrations of what integrity means to all of us at Alyeska and everyone who works on taps. Today, I'll be presenting the Atigun honors for another area that's very important to our organization and pipeline people, health and safety. I'm certainly proud of how we protect the health and safety of one another, and that has been especially true this year, as evidenced by the excellent planning and preparation across TAPS to deal with the pandemic. Before I present this category's awards, I'd like to briefly share my perspective on the Atigun Awards. I've always thought that these awards were special and that it was important to recognize hard work and going the extra mile. This past year was the first year I got to read all the Atigun Award nominations, and having done so, I have an even deeper appreciation for these awards. There were so many great nominations, and there is so much pride among the TAPS workforce for all the really good work that's being performed all year long. It's an uplifting experience to read the award nominations, and it's an honor for me to be able to share the impressive work that was done by these award winners. With that, I'll kick off this year's Health and Safety Atigans with the honorable mention for wellness on taps. In 2019, Alyeska's Occupational Health Unit brought to life a strategy that elevated and expanded the promotion of healthy lifestyles on taps. The team provided education and wellness resources for field and urban employees and added to its already strong wellness program. The improvements included a healthy maintenance reimbursement to include a registered dietitian for counseling, healthier meal options in the field, educational opportunities for women's and men's health, and opportunities to participate in events and activities that promote good health, including a 6-week family wellness challenge. Field medics are also being recognized for expanding their on-site wellness support. This includes blood pressure and blood sugar tracking, flu shots, and blood draws for screenings. They also shared the wellness program's brown bag topics that were presented at Anchorage, Valdez, and Fairbanks events. Making positive health and wellness choices will have long-term positive impacts for our people and our workplace. I encourage everyone to take advantage of this incredible resource of knowledge, talent, and care that we have in our OHU team. Thank you to everyone involved for making it a mission to improve employee mental and physical health and wellness today and for the future. Congratulations on your honorable mention for health and safety. Now, this year's Health and Safety Atigun Award goes to the PIT Program Facility Inspection Team's confined space entry work at Pump Station 3. It's rare that TAPS workers actually get inside the pipe and its infrastructure, which is highly risky. But that's exactly what had to happen at Pump Station 3 last year. When an ILI crawler below ground inspections were performed in the Tank 130's inlet-outlet 36-inch piping and in Pump Station 3's relief system below ground piping, corrosion was initially detected. This required further in-person inspection to verify the level of corrosion and repair work needed. The manned entry to provide validation of laser depth measurements and verification of pit morphology was required. A repair strategy was developed. Grinding and weld metal deposition at internal corrosion locations would be performed inside multiple sections of 36-inch piping. Each route had a single entry and exit point. The 3 most challenging routes of pipe for additional inspection and repair were daunting. Route 1 was a vertical access point, 14 feet vertically down, then 205 feet horizontally below ground. Route 2 was a vertical access point, then over 170 feet horizontally above ground. And Route 3 was a vertical access point to 12 foot down, then 139 feet horizontally below ground. The group developed and implemented extensive plans to ensure safe inspections and complete repairs. Anyone entering the pipe for repairs or investigation was required to take confined space entry and rescue training. The air in the pipe was constantly monitored to ensure oxygen was available. Tagline was tied on anyone who entered the pipe in case they needed to be rescued, and frequent breaks were required to make sure the crew stayed hydrated. Another risk included building and climbing scaffolding over 30 feet high to reach and remove pipe insulation and coating. Following that exhaustive work, the group made one last round of required inspections inside the pipe to confirm the repairs, and they were completed without any safety or environmental incidents. To everyone who participated in this successful project, congratulations on your 2020 Atigun Award for Health and Safety. I'll pass the next sets of awards to Fred.
Thank you, Sally. I'm excited to present this year's awards for teamwork, a category that honors those who exceedingly apply the shared responsibility for Alyeska's mission and resources entrusted to us. HR earned an honorable mention last year, so I can relate to how great it feels to be part of a team getting recognized in this category. It's a special thing to achieve an Atigun Award. It's the highest point on TAPS, and we also call it the going the extra mile. It's something extra that you've done that gets recognized. Oftentimes we move past those. We don't think about them. We just do it as a come to work, just part of what we do. But this is the time when we take special recognition and a pause and really take some moments to say what we've done and that we've done it in a good way. This year, the teamwork category is packed with impressive projects that truly define what teamwork on taps is all about. There are 2 honorable mentions and 1 award winner. The first teamwork honorable mention recognizes the team behind the 2019 Lower Sag River emergency flood repairs. The Sag River is an annual troublemaker for taps and workers on the northern end of the haul road. During spring 2019, the Lower Sag River Basin experienced its 5th highest flood level in the past 40 years. And that flooding breached numerous earthwork structures designed to protect buried mainline and the fuel gas line, caused considerable external corrosion damage to the cathodic protection system. The highest risk was exposure to more than 350 feet of buried mainline at milepost 28. Several individuals from Alyeska and 5 TAPS partners, organizations came together to face challenges and quickly find solutions. That ranged from helicopter and drone overflights, behind the scenes permitting, resources and material procurement, an array of fast-moving boots-on-the-ground repairs. This work ultimately prevented leaks or even a rupture by addressing potential damages to the exposed mainline, restored protective structures to help prevent future damage in this area. Thank you to everyone who played a role in successfully executing these emergency flood repairs. The second teamwork honorable mention recognizes the group that navigated an ocean of literal paperwork to complete the massive Operation Blue Whale project. After a 10-year legal hold was lifted, Alyeska's compliance and documentation team wasted no time and started a warehouse cleanup effort. This massive project involved collaboration with several other departments, many of which had to sort through boxes of old records. This team established a consistent process to determine what could be destroyed and put in a new radio frequency identification system in place to easily locate and track boxes in the future. Alyeska shredded more than 15,000 boxes that contained 455,000 pounds of paperwork, more than the weight of a blue whale. And the departmental collaboration resulted in a successful 12-week cleanup. Thank you to everyone who conquered this truly unique and daunting task through collaboration, communication, and teamwork. Because of your work, Alyeska's records are secure and organized for the future. And now to this year's Atigun Award winner for teamwork, the group behind the complicated and critical Triconics replacement. Alyeska staff and contractors worked side by side to remove old electronic controller equipment and wiring that transmitted data to and from the OCC and installed a new Triconics communication system on more than 60 remote gate valves along taps. Only a few of these RGVs are easily accessible by road. The majority needed to be plowed out, and some were only accessible by water crossings. The coordination with each group involved made this monumental technological transition seemingly seamless. The new Triconics units can now be remotely managed by automation engineers and will lead to 20 years of reliable communications and control of RGVs. This group said their focus was simple: consistency and safety. And they were successful. The excellent work shines a spotlight on pump station teams, automation, SCADA engineers, and OCC maintenance personnel, as well as folks from projects, engineering, operations, maintenance, the shop team, and ASRC. Congratulations to everyone receiving this year's Teamwork Atigun for the Triconics replacement. And again, great work to all the teams mentioned today, as well as all the amazing teams doing so much excellent work. Your own special contributions to the safe and reliable TAPS operation is appreciated. And now, it's my honor to send it back to Brigham and our executive team for this year's President's Award.
Congratulations to all of this year's Atigun Award winners and honorable mention recipients. What an impressive group. And now, I'd like to transition to the 2020 President's Choice Awards, which recognize the truly special individuals in our workplace who, as the name captures, are selected specifically by Alyeska's president. These are the people and teams that constantly go above and beyond, and they make it look easy. The people who think, see things, and work a little bit differently than everyone else. These are the people we go to when we need help. And these are the people who inspire us with their work, as well as their attitudes and drive. This year's group was picked last winter by now retired President Tom Barrett. I'm already excited to be involved in my first President's Choice Award selections later this year. Until then, the executive team will join me in presenting this year's awards. Up first, the TAPS Contractor Partner of the Year. Each year, Alyeska honors one of the many organizations that play key roles in successful TAPS operations, from partnering big projects to supporting everyday operations. This year's award goes to Central Environmental Incorporated, which played a unique part in TAPS history, acting as primary demolition contractor in the Pump Station 10 facility removal. The organization and its skilled professionals made the complex, first of its kind on TAPS project successful, hitting safety, schedule, and budgetary goals. CEI was selected for this project based on the organization's expertise and experience around Alaska on similar and even larger jobs. That history certainly gave us confidence. At Pump Station 10, their team lived up to that reputation. The work ranged from carefully handling waste products by hand to tearing down entire buildings with excavators. Alyeska project managers on the project praised CEI's professionalism in their work and with all stakeholders. Stefan Reardon, one of Alyeska's Pump Station 10 project managers, said, "They came to work ready to perform at their highest level, and that was consistent day in and day out. And every person on their team, from their leadership to someone operating the excavator to someone picking up the trash, was obviously seasoned and highly capable." When you see the before and after photos of Pump Station 10 in the summer of 2019, I think you'll agree with that assessment. And over the approximately 24,000 hours work on the project, the CI team had no recordables or major safety issues on site. Shane Duran, CI partner and program manager, said that those successes came from extensive pre-planning, his team's overall experience on previous projects, and communicating with the Alyeska partners, especially on site. Of the Atigun Award, Shane added, "The recognition from Alyeska for a job well done is something the company and crew are very proud of." Thank you to all at CEI for being a perfect partner for this phase of the TAPS legacy and for helping us keep our commitment to regulators, Alaska's environment, and to Alaskans. Congratulations to Central Environmental Incorporated on earning the President's Choice Atigun Award for TAPS Contractor Partner of the Year.
You could say that Dave Roberts was destined to work on TAPS. As a youngster in the 80s, he shadowed his dad, a mechanical engineer who supplied Alyeska with mainline valves. The path Dave's own engineering career was already forged. Over the past 20 plus years, Dave has worked on some of the pipeline's oldest infrastructure, including some of those valves. More importantly, he's crafted innovations that are creating a safer, smarter pipeline for the future. With that background and unique system view, Dave was a natural for the 2020 Atigun Awards President's Choice Engineer of the Year. I was fortunate to have met Dave early in my tenure here at Alyeska. I was tasked with a very difficult project where, after SR had commissioned the variable frequency drives on our mainline units, that starting a second mainline unit or even a third would cause a black plant or complete system power outage at pump stations 3 and 4. There was a team assembled, several very strong engineering experts from some of our engineering service providers had weighed in on different ways to approach this problem, but we're not getting anywhere with it. Working with Dave and another electrical engineer along TAPS, Bill Frichtel and Carl Coulter, we traveled back to Ontario, and there we met with the original design engineers for the variable frequency drives. I sat there in that room and watched Dave with some very interesting laser focus amongst all of these experts who had driven the design from scratch of this variable frequency drive, look at the problem, and with his insight, and not being an electrical engineer to boot, was able to come up with an innovative way to stop having the pumps cause a black plant. Dave looked at that very complex problem with all of these people and just said, why don't we keep the capacitors charged? It was so insightful and so innovative, and it took all of these engineers off of the track of thinking that they had, was a very cost-effective approach, reduced infrastructure that was supposed to be added to it to solve this problem. And we've been in this case for all the years since Dave came up with that idea. For me personally, I knew I was in a special place when engineers like Dave were available and on the staff to come up with that kind of thinking. Dave is currently a part of the Appraise team, where conceptual engineers envision the future of TAPS. Their creative work comes with big-time successes that significantly impact safety, efficiency, operations, and savings. Work also involves investing years in projects that are suddenly scrapped when it's clear that they don't work. But Dave said that's why you engineer. You don't cross your fingers and hope. You do the conceptual work, work the research side of the fence, and the practical side too. Dave's journey to Alyeska came after a brief engineering stint on the East Coast and a position at Kucko, where he worked on TAPS projects with Alyeska engineers. In 1996, they sent Dave down to Valdez for 3 months. He stayed for 9 years, 6 of them with TAPS. Dave's played key critical roles in all the other big TAPS projects that have come since then. For strategic reconfiguration, he relocated his family to Canada to work onside the Contractor's SR experts. Dave came back to Alyeska, ran through the commissioning of SR. In some cases, I saw him myself able to figure out live areas of the automation system that needed improvement. It's been a pleasure to work alongside Dave all of these years. We're proud that he's sticking around to work these problems and look to new ideas and solutions for our pipeline. Congratulations, Dave, on being named the 2020 Atigun Awards Engineer of the Year.
On TAPS, our technicians are the ultimate behind-the-scenes players. Their work individually and as team players is critical to safe and reliable pipeline operations. Their talents are vast and varied. The challenges they tackle, from working on legacy equipment to implementing innovations for the pipeline's future, are endless. Yet few of our technicians are known beyond their pump stations or work areas. That's why last year we started the Atigun Awards, President's Choice for Technician of the Year. We now have an opportunity to shine a spotlight on those unsung specialists who are caretakers to TAPS and much of its infrastructure. To be honest, many technicians prefer to remain unsung. Our techs take great pride in their work, but typically shun attention and share credit. Well, sorry about that bright spotlight, Sailor Williams. You are this year's Technician of the Year. Sailor is a super skilled, well-liked, problem-solving instrumentation technician at Pump Station 1. He started his TAPS journey 6 years ago at Pump Stations 3 and 4 and has thrived since his first day. Sailor is known for his ever-expanding technical abilities, passionate ownership of his work, and jumping at opportunities to help others and learn more. Sailor's career is unique in that he is self-taught in many skills that eventually led to his work on TAPS. Since arriving, he's taken on-the-job experiences to new heights. He never hesitates to approach others for a learning opportunity and gain a new mentor. Sailor said, "I see challenges as a chance to learn, and this job continues to offer those challenges every day. I seek out opportunities to step outside of my comfort zone, which really helps expand my knowledge." He jokes that after 6 years on TAPS, he still feels like the new guy. But the reality is Sailor's exceptional technical ability has made him a Siemens turbine generator SME. Now he's someone that others come to for help, knowledge, and solutions. In fact, some techs changed their shifts to ensure the opportunity to partner on a project with Sailor. Pump Station 1 maintenance supervisor Nancy Lee said that Sailor is one of those rare individuals that know a lot about a lot of things, a walking, talking version of the How Stuff Works website, and he continues to look for ways to improve in all areas as a teammate, technician, and individual. For someone whose curiosity and hunger for challenges are endless, Sailor has a fitting mantra: I don't want things to break, but I'm kind of happy when they do. It's exciting diving into a problem, and I really enjoy the process of understanding new systems and figuring out how to solve their failures. Of course, we don't want things to break either, Sailor, but we're confident that if something does in your area, you'll be among our first of our talented techs to jump in and fix it. Sailor, thank you for your enthusiasm and positive attitude. Thank you for your amazing work, and thank you for being an example of teamwork, leadership, and learning, improving, and innovating. Congratulations on being named the Atigun Awards President's Choice Technician of the Year.
One thing that makes Alyeska such a special workplace is that we are surrounded by people who are considered leaders and experts in their respective fields on state, national, and even international levels. Among them is Michelle Egan, the longtime director of Alyeska's Corporate Communications Department and Alyeska's Chief Communication Officer. Michelle is also a 2020 Atigun Awards President's Choice for Professional of the Year. Michelle directs internal and external communications for Alyeska, is responsible for all aspects of formal company stakeholder, media, and government relations, crisis communications, and philanthropy. She also leads a team that is constantly producing informative, important, and award-winning work. In 2018 and 19, Michelle and her team helped navigate the organization through significant challenge and change with engaging communications for our people. Last year, Alyeska leadership wrote, "Michelle asks not just the hard questions, but the right questions, and reminded us at every opportunity of the human impacts of our work, that in the end of every business decision are people who must be helped through that transition with careful communication and support." Among many at Alyeska and her PR peers, Michelle is respected and admired for her devotion to ethics and commitment to elevating and advancing her craft and the practice of public relations. Away from our offices, Michelle was named the Public Relations Society of America's Alyeska Chapter's 2019 PR Communicator of the Year. She is a PRSA College of Fellows and is the treasurer of PRSA's National Board of Directors. She is a timeless volunteer, generous mentor, and trusted counselor. She is unflappable and creative, and she seems to do it all with an unmatched drive, while also with grace, humility, and humor. Michelle, your 25-plus years of experience, influence, and excellence in public relations across Alaska, in addition to your extraordinary past year of work, are inspiring. Congratulations on being named an Atigun Award President's Choice Professional of the Year.
Well, it's my great honor and pleasure to present this year's Atigun Awards President's Choice for Professional of the Year to Nichole Gentz-Wilkins, Alyeska's System-Wide Maintenance Materials Supervisor. For more than 22 years on TAPS, Nichole has embodied what this distinct honor is all about. A tireless and thoughtful worker who loves putting the pieces together for a successful project. A confident and encouraging leader with a trusted, transparent relationship with her team. An even-keeled, logical partner who never says no when her skills are needed anywhere, anytime on TAPS. She's someone who attacks challenges head-on and fearlessly takes new opportunities to grow. She's a coworker who is quick with a smile and humor, is level-headed, confidant for many seeking her advice, and ultimately someone who truly enjoys her work on TAPS and the pipeline people she works with. Now, I know from personal experience, Nichole is also very generous and gracious with her time, always quick to offer you a ride to or from the airport if you should need it. Nichole says she credits her success to her teammates, her legion of supervisors, mentors, and supporters, and to the experiences she's taken from her many roles during her TAPS travels. She's worked with the documents group, as a buyer, as an analyst, and more. She also points to the work ethic instilled in her at an early age growing up in a hardworking family on a Delta Junction farm. Of the award, she quickly widens the spotlight, saying that it's flattering and appreciated, but it's hard to accept this for just myself. This is for the entire team. I'm not successful unless they are. Hillary Schaefer, Alyeska's System-Wide Maintenance Manager and Nichole's manager, is generous with her praise for Nichole, someone she has watched steadily rise as a teammate and as a leader. It's very fitting for Nichole to receive this award. She's progressed through many different jobs, and some of them have not been the easiest. But she's always worked hard, and her attitude has always been so positive. People value her, respect her, and are comfortable approaching her with anything. As a leader, she's always providing support and encouragement, as well as care and empathy to her team. They've flourished with her, and she trusts them as well, which is a testament to her success as a leader. And Nichole is based in Fairbanks, where she leads the diverse and always busy members of the materials team that are spread out in shops and warehouses across TAPS, from Pump Station 1 to Valdez. When she took over the materials supervisor role more than a year and a half ago, she inherited the team's incredible safety record of more than 23 years without a recordable incident. She says, "There are a lot of special moments for me on TAPS, but we all take a lot of pride in our safety milestone. There are forklifts moving lots of material, there's windshield time, boxes being cut open, all of those taking place across the line every day. I remember what Frank Oxman used to say, that no task is routine. We live by that. It might be the 100 box we've opened that day, and the dynamics might be different, but we take each of those seriously." And people across TAPS seriously have trusted in Nichole. Hillary added, "Since she's moved into her current position, it's the first time I've worked this closely and directly with Nichole. And she has taught me some lessons with her leadership skills. I just really admire and respect her." Anyone who has worked with Nichole would echo that sentiment. Congratulations, Nichole, on this well-deserved honor. You are the 2020 Atigun Award President's Choice for Professional of the Year.
It's a pretty safe bet to say that most, if not every person on TAPS has something great to say about Rod Hanson. It's certainly no surprise that Admiral Barrett selected Rod for the Atigun Awards President's Choice Lifetime Achievement Honor prior to their respective retirements earlier this year. After 30 years on TAPS, Rod was known as a special teammate and leader who seemingly did it all and worked with just about everyone. Even in the brief window that I had to work with Rod earlier this year, I found him delightful and engaging. He drugged me all up and down the line, taught me how to back up properly, always kept safety at the top, and always TAPS pride. So while we all have fond stories about Rod, we felt that instead of all of us talking about him in this award, we would give him the opportunity to share his feelings about his time on TAPS, the people he worked with, and this honor. So it's my great privilege to say, Rod, take it away.
Yeah, so humbled, I think is the phrase that comes to mind. You know, I was a part of the team that was there when we started the Atigun Awards program, and one of my favorite things to do every year has been to recognize people and to hand out Atigun Awards. And then you know, with the President's Awards associated with that, it's always been great to be part of thanking people, and it feels odd to be on the receiving end of that. Tom called me. I forget where I was. I think I was traveling. I think I might have been down in Valdez, and he called me and said, "Rod, I'm gonna award you the Lifetime Achievement Award," and it was a pretty incredible feeling. I am proud of my time on TAPS and you know, the contributions I've tried to make over the years, but it is a real honor to receive an award like this, and something I really cherish. I think it was almost as hard to get hired on TAPS as it was to leave. I moved to Alaska in 1978. I was out of high school about a year. Didn't really know what I wanted to do, but the pipeline had just started up the year before. I got up here and it was clear, you know, it was a big deal. I actually went into the office at Brigham to see if they were hiring. And I met with one of the project managers there, and so he asked me a few questions, asked me what my interests were. And at that time, you know, it was auto mechanics, heavy equipment. I had some engineering interest as well. He sat and talked with me for a while. And at the end of the conversation, he recommended that I pursue an engineering degree and come back. And I think that was kind of the push I needed to actually do that. So I went back to Oregon, spent 4 years working on a civil structural engineering degree, and came back, and the first place I went was back to Alyeska, and they weren't hiring. The company I was working for in 1988 picked up some Alyeska work. And then I actually went to work in 1989 at the terminal as a civil engineer in support of project work. And I did that for about 3 years and then hired on full-time in 1991. So it took several years, but I think I knew when I got to Alaska that this is where I wanted to be. And I really appreciated the folks that spent a little time with me and kind of maybe helped me prepare for a career at Alyeska. Earlier I talked about the word iconic, and I think as a pipeline company, Alyeska and TAPS is truly, world class when it comes to operations, maintenance, and emergency preparedness and response. So it is an incredible system. Obviously, it was an engineering marvel at the time it was constructed. From an engineering standpoint, it's like an engineer's dream to be associated with a system like that. It's really been an awesome place to work. The people are incredible, and that has been absolutely the best part of the last 30 years, has been all these great people. I regret that I wasn't able to really get out and kind of do the typical post or pre-retirement tour, right? So there are some people who I really would have appreciated the opportunity to say goodbye to in person, and it didn't quite work out that way this year. But I really, truly enjoyed working with all of you, and I do hope to run into you in the community, or maybe on at a fishing hole on a river somewhere. But thank you for what you do. Thank you for the the relationships that we've had over the years, and I'm going to miss TAPS. It's been hard actually sitting here talking to Josh and reflecting on 30 years on TAPS and realizing that's not what I'm about anymore, but it'll always be with great satisfaction and pride that I look back at my time on TAPS, and I wish you all the best, and I know that TAPS is in good hands.
Thank you, Rod. Congratulations on a well-deserved honor and for an equally deserved retirement. And thanks too for staying on a couple extra months at my request. But for now, enjoy every second of your retirement. And remember, may your landings equal your takeoffs. Thank you everyone for joining us today to celebrate the amazing people and the special work on TAPS with the 2020 Atigun Awards. And thank you also for giving this virtual approach a chance. I hope you enjoyed viewing it as much as we enjoyed making it. It's important to stop and recognize great people and great work, and this is certainly an opportunity to do just that. Hopefully we'll be back next year with hamburgers and handshakes along the pipeline in Valdez, Fairbanks, and Anchorage. Please congratulate the award winners and honorable mentions in your areas, and even those acquaintances working afar on their work. Speaking of the future, it's never too early to submit an Atigun Awards nomination. Anyone on TAPS can do it at any time. I encourage you to keep in mind the exceptional work that takes place each and every day out on the line, and fill out the simple Atigun Awards nomination form, which is located on the corporate communications page on the ANET. Thank you to everyone who recognized the great work of 2019 by filling out an Atigun Award nomination form. You fueled today's program and recognized the high performers we've spotlighted among many others out there. And that concludes the 2020 Atigun Awards virtual presentation. Thank you for watching. A final congratulations to the winners, and I look forward to seeing you all in person next year.